What's up,
Yeah,
everyone? Yeah, we here another
Friday.
Friday. You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
God for
Yes,
Friday.
yes. Made it through
Yep.
another week. God's
hmm
good.
Yep.
Yeah. Um.
Another Friday.
Yeah. You see what's going on in the news out here? They arrested. What's the former Prince Andrew?
Yeah. What, 2 days ago or just
Yeah.
yesterday?
Was it
Yeah.
yesterday? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, it was crazy, right?
Yeah. They arrested him
Mm.
in connection to the Epstein files. Some of the stuff, one of the
Hmm.
reasons why they arrested him.
Yeah,
And
inside trading secrets and stuff like that. I believe.
yeah, trading secrets.
Yeah.
And then also not just that, but also with these Epstein files coming
Yeah.
out and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw in the interview he said that he doesn't know that girl that supposed that took her life, and he was saying that the girl said he was sweating a lot. He said he don't sweat, but then I heard somebody say, "I bet he's sweating now."
yeah, Hannah said it yesterday. He said, I bet he's sweating now.
Yeah.
Yeah. They took him from a property of his brothers. Prince Charles took him from
Hmm.
a property of his brothers and arrested him. But I heard he's been released now.
Yeah.
So I guess he's released pending whatever they're gonna charge him with.
Yeah.
But if he's
Probably some further
convicted,
investigation and some stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was reading if he's convicted, he's gonna spend the rest of his life in prison.
Mm.
And that's where he should be. Like everybody else that's in those files, that's where they need to be
Yeah.
the rest of their life in there.
Yeah.
Cause I'm just like that stuff that they did and the stuff that I saw, the names that I saw, a lot of the people in there I don't even know. But just some of the stuff that I've heard, because we heard this started during the pandemic,
Yeah.
all
It
this
did.
Epstein stuff, and so then the people that aided, like Ghislaine Maxwell, how she
Hmm.
was aiding, and now she's not speaking. She's sitting back saying she plead the fifth.
She don't want nobody to come and kill her.
Yeah. So she gonna sit back and plead the fifth. She's not gonna say anything. So I was just like, wow. Um, Once a character, still a character. You know, sit back, don't say anything.
Yeah, but got some high people up there, and she don't want to, get involved and start snitching on people. May end up dead somewhere.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's what happens. And
yeah,
sometimes these predators, they can't face the music when they do stuff wrong. They have a lot of fun doing, all the wrong stuff they want to do. But then when they get in trouble, they want boo-hoo and cry, or they want blame the victim or say they didn't do it. And then
yeah,
some of them want to commit suicide.
yeah.
They look at, oh, well, that's my way out.
Like you said, Dad tried to fake he was gonna kill himself. He
Oh,
went, he
yeah.
went, went up on the
It,
bridge. You
yeah.
said tried like he was gonna
Yeah.
jump.
And when he was incarcerated, he was telling us that he wasn't well. He was going to do something to us. So, man, I ain't pay that stuff no attention at
You,
all. It's like,
you,
man,
you
you're going
know,
to do what you're going
you
to
know
do what
what's funny
you do.
about the Epstein stuff. What I'm not gonna say what's funny, but when we would talk about this, and I know yesterday you put me onto this movie called Blink Twice.
Blink. Yeah. Blink twice. Yep.
And that's supposed to be like we got off the phone. You're like, "Good night, Red." Like, yeah, I'm gonna lay down. Well, but then I said I gotta check this movie out first. I ended up putting that movie in a little later. Yo, was glued to the TV. Yo,
It was crazy.
yeah,
And it
Blink.
puts you in the mind of those files. If you've read them, anybody that's
Yeah,
watching, if you've read, some of the files and some of the people in it, watch Blink Twice, the movie with Channing Tatum.
mm-hmm.
It's directed by
Got
Lenny
who is?
Kravitz's daughter, Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah,
And it was
got some
something
other
else.
got some other famous people.
Yeah, a lot. A
It
lot
was
of
it was
famous
it was it was
people.
crazy.
You just gotta watch it. It's a crazy movie.
Yeah, and after I saw it and everything, I'm like, yo, I'm sitting back, I'm thinking about Epstein. Like, this is what they do on those private islands. You don't know what's going down.
Yep. And then remember last week we was talking about Kennedy saying he
Yeah,
snorted crack off the toilet seat. Well, people asking him to resign now.
that's wild.
Knew it was coming, huh?
When
But
stories come out, what you do in your past, the way everything is now, people want you, resign from all types of positions. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's why
Yep.
you gotta stay squeaky clean. But I know it's hard, but it is what it is
I'm just like, he could have
for
kept
some
that
people.
to himself,
Yeah, I wouldn't say nothing.
yeah, being a politician like that. I'm just like, could you have kept that to yourself? We got enough drug abuse in society and stuff already. And it was just like the way he was talking, like it was just okay. And then he's talking about COVID, and COVID is a germy thing. That's why people was protecting themselves,
Yeah,
And I'm saying not being a clean person. It's just him
he said
sitting up there. It was
he
like,
said
it's okay. It's
he
okay.
built up his immune system by doing the
Yeah.
drugs.
Yeah.
That's
Dermatized.
crazy.
He getting dermatized
Yeah,
and all that. That I don't even wash my hands when I go to the bathroom. I'm just like, no, this is just way out.
I don't play
This is
that.
too much.
I be
And
pushing my
then,
elbow on the door and all that stuff. I have a little
yeah,
every time I open. I don't play that stuff.
take my foot and kick
Yeah,
the
we
door
doing kick you through. Yeah,
open. Put my foot up on the toilet, um, flusher and flush it with my foot. I'm like, I'm not touching no flusher.
yeah,
I'm just like the stuff he said out of his mouth. It was like, you supposed to be some type of health figure, and you're sitting up there talking like that. Yeah, you need to resign. Just go ahead, resign.
yeah, yeah.
Yep, that's what you need to do.
That was kind of funny,
Yeah,
sniffing coat off of toilet seats.
yeah. And then not just that, but I was also getting off into today. Savannah Guthrie's mother, it marks today, if I'm not mistaken, today or
Mhm.
tomorrow, it'll be 3 weeks
Yeah,
that she's practically been missing. And I'm just like, I was on the 210 freeway heading home, and they have a sign, a billboard on the freeway with her name on it. And if you see her, call such and such. So I was like, well, why they put a billboard up out here in California? So somebody at work said, well, it's close proximity, California, Arizona,
hmm
Mexico. So they're putting it up everywhere as far as whoever took her, could have went.
in those
Like I
areas.
said, it's odd because we don't need, I mean, what is the news telling you? The same thing over and over again,
They not give. So
over and over again. And it's sad for the family because they got 84-year-old mother out there and nobody knows where their mother is at. That got to be painful, hurtful, to them. So hope and pray to God, that they find her, and she gets home safe. Somebody return her back to her family. But I know when they find her, somebody might get the death penalty when
oh
they
yeah,
find her, because I mean, you kidnapping elderly people, that's far out. That's too much.
it is.
And then I saw an update too on Gorilla's
Oh
family. Got more insight, like we was talking about yesterday, is that you got to kind of be careful going to social media, blasting your family, you
yeah.
know, like that, because the thing is that you don't even know. Well, we don't know personally what all it entails with her mother.
The ins
Um,
and out and what's
yeah,
what. Yeah.
and what she said personally, I was reading just today, is that she said that her mother, I guess she wasn't that present of a mother, and
hmm
they lived in horrible housing. They suffered with being infested with roaches and rats. And when she got to be 15 years old, she left, moved in with her father, because that was better, for
Yeah.
her,
Yeah.
you know.
Also, I heard if I probably have to go back and research for her sister that went out there was talking about her and stuff. I heard she got like $30,000 just by going on social media.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, hey, got your money then. I mean, your sister don't need to give you
Somebody
anything.
gonna pay you to sell
Yeah.
your family out. I mean, you gotta look at prime example. Look what Laura did to all of us.
Yeah.
And she can't say she ain't made a penny off of none of us,
Yeah.
because
She
she's
made
made
some
money
money.
off of every last one of us.
Yeah.
She's made money off of all of us. Things that we've all discovered, all types of stuff.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah. And I know we're gonna get in this story talking about Mead Valley in California,
Mhm.
this land um that y'all lived on for a period of time, whatever. And I
Mhm.
know I talked about this
Mhm.
with our brothers about a couple, maybe almost a year ago now, and they was talking about how they lived on this probably called the land and the stuff that dad did by burying, Mike, Marcus, and Marlon in a hole,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
Marlon ate somebody's food and he was throwing up, and dad did this to him and that. And Laura used that story about being digging a hole and being, she took that from being on the land, but she y'all didn't know her at that time.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about it. She took that story and gave it to Lifetime and all other places, social media spots, every place. So we're up here just to clear a lot of that stuff up. That didn't happen to her. That's that comes from our family, the story, and the story that you're about to talk about, what happened with you when you're
Mhm.
on that property. It's not connected to Laura, so we just want to get that out there. You know,
No, what I'm
yeah,
gonna talk about tonight, is it's something that I decided to share, and it's something that I wanted to share because I was looking at some of our siblings' past videos last year. Marcus, Michael, Marlon, Lakeisha, Sharon, and I was reflecting off of some of the stuff that they were saying that we went through out there. And I went through something that was very disgusting. And one of the reasons why I'm in counseling and I continue to be in counseling is because I couldn't grip at the age of 11 that that was even happening to me. And the thing about it is that, like Rick said, this what we're about to speak about now. This happened in between 1990 1991. So this has nothing to do with Laura at all. And so we don't want her taking, you know, this story, using it and saying that, oh, that happened to me too, because none of us knew her
yeah,
then. And there's a lot of things that happened to us before she came along. But when she did come along, she aided and enabled a lot of stuff. And like we had spoke about before we got online, if if we all knew something happened to her, it would be no reason for none of us just to sit back knowing that our dad is this big monster and he did all this stuff. It would be no reason for us to sit back and say that, oh, he didn't do that.
yeah. Because
There's no
we wouldn't
reason.
we wouldn't do that at all. Because
We,
I'll be like,
we,
yeah, yeah,
we even discussed our own blood mother,
hmm,
and that she was wrong and things happened. We also discussed our mother, went through some stuff with him as well, you know. And I mean, maybe some of our relationships is not so great, with our mother and stuff, but still everybody has acknowledged that she did go through some things and she went through far more stuff.
yes, yeah. I mean, like, yeah,
Yeah, being a young person, the stuff that she went through and got to a certain age and it stopped. So, this is just what she went through is just beyond, what Laura is saying. That's the thing. And it's also the stuff that all of us children that was in the home and things that we experience is beyond that as well.
yeah,
So I don't want her to consistently keep using us because she's already drugged and used all of us in the media. She's aware of that. So, and a lot of people, they're aware of that. If you come back and look at a lot of videos on, this pod, and if you tune in tonight, you'll see and you'll understand a lot of things that what I'm about to discuss, this is not being forcefully, um,
yeah.
I'm
Because
not forced
yeah,
to
because
tell
we met.
this.
You came to me last
Mm-hmm.
week, the last week's show. I think Saturday or Sunday we were talking,
Mm-hmm.
and you were like, "Rick, blah blah this." And I was like, hey, it's up to you. No pressure, because you know me from the jump. I told everybody, no
Mm-hmm.
pressure. You can say it a certain way if you want to leave stuff out. And honestly, everyone, we left a lot of stuff out. We just don't go in depth. We just kind of lightly speak here and there. But maybe one day, or maybe when we do a book,
Yeah.
we'll
But some
really
stuff you
go
can't
in.
go. Some stuff you can't go into depth because
Yeah,
it's graphic.
yeah, yep.
Kind of gotta like be careful with how
About
you
yeah,
speak. But you're right, going back to people being comfortable in how they speak. A lot of our siblings have discussed how they was uncomfortable with speaking about
yeah,
certain stuff and how they felt, and that's fine and
yeah.
all
And I
of
say,
that.
hey, if you don't want to talk about certain things, it's fine. I'm not
But
pressuring nobody. I just personally want to bring some light, shed some light on the situation with the Lord thing and all the stuff in the media, just to show people, look, this didn't happen to her and my siblings and us. We're gonna really slow roll this and really give you detail on how lay it all out, and that's what we've been doing.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah,
so it's just to really like um the topic is something else. So um if everybody's ready, I guess
yeah,
we're gonna start, right, Richard?
yeah. We can start right now.
Okay. So um I might get a little nervous when speaking about this because like I
Yeah,
said, it's
yeah. Just take your
it's a
time.
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
it's a tough situation. So Mead Valley was a property that me and the other of your 11 siblings lived on. And we lived out there, I say, for a good 2.5 years. But then we was back and forth out there in a hotel. So I can't even tell you how dad even discovered this community of Muslim people. And I'm also going to say this, not everybody out there was horrible. But at the age of 11, I encountered a female that lived out there on that property that sexually assaulted me at the age of 11. And I've spoken to our mother about it. I've spoken to our father about it. And during that time, when I told the both of them, it was told to me, that's what you get. I've also discussed it with one of our siblings, our older siblings, recently. And I was told by our older sibling that our mother didn't remember. So
mm,
typical,
yeah.
typical, I'm going to say that that's who she is to say you don't remember. But,
Yeah.
you know,
And what and
well,
what
I
and that
know, I
and
know.
that
Mhm.
and not to cut you off, but uh, for dad to say that's what you get when he was part of the problem and the reason why it happened in the first place. And that right
Both
there
of
is
them, him
yeah,
and our
both
mother,
of them actually, yeah.
was the
And
problem because first of all, um, they was already doing things to us, but being an adult now, I realized going through counseling and even within myself that if they was already doing things to us, they didn't care about what everybody else did. And that's why it was allowed. The person that did it think that she's got away with it. But this is a thing that I've journaled and documented. And I've also filed a police report. And I did that about 5, 6 years ago.
mm,
I don't know the person's actual name, but I do know she went by the name of Zahia
mm,
on the property. So I don't think that that's her real name because everybody had different names out there. They even gave us different names. And he wasn't successful with changing any of our names. Some of us kept those names, some of us didn't. So, like I said, I knew her by Zahia, and I was an 11-year-old kid at the time when this happened. And when I mentioned sexual assault, I'm not going to get into details because, like me and Richard discussed before, it's graphic. And not just that, that's probably going to be saved, for a book or something. So, like I said, this is Mead Valley, California, 1990-91. This property is located off of Winchester Road, and I have pictures of this place. I also have pictures where the incident happened. I'm going to state again, a police report was filed since I have been an adult. The individual that lived on the land, she is a 5'6", dark-skinned woman. She had a small child at that time. She had a husband as well, and she lived in a red barn behind some of the trailers on that property. And one of the trailers, actually, she lived behind, was adjacent to the double wide trailer that Adrian lived in when we first met her.
Okay.
So when talking about this subject, it's a memory I have, literally. This is something that I've really never spoken about except in counseling, and to my husband. And I've spoken to Richard about it, but vaguely, not full details. I've also had this conversation with both our parents. I've had this conversation with a couple of our siblings. And like I said, just recently, maybe just about 2-3 months ago, talked to it with one of my siblings about it. They ain't got no recollection of it, or they probably do have a recollection of it, but just don't care to, give in to it because of things that happened to them. Mm-hmm. And I can understand that. But when you have our mother saying that she don't remember, that's fine too, because I've let a lot of stuff go. And I'm one of those persons, like I told you before, you got to learn as an adult to protect your peace. And that's what I've learned in my life, that if there's things that I don't want to be involved in, I'm not going to get involved in it. Yeah. And I'm most definitely, number one, not going to involve my husband or my family, kids into it. I'm not going to do that. Because for me, their safety comes first. So like I said, this will be the first time I speak about this. Some things I won't speak about, and some things I will speak about in details, but in a non-graphic way. So when this happened to me, this sexual assault, I made it clear to both of my parents and made them aware. And when I say I made it clear to them, I gave them details about what happened. So the both of them was aware of it, that it happened. But I felt as a child, it didn't matter. Like I feel like as an adult now, it doesn't matter, because that was a thing that happened to our sister and probably some of our other siblings that haven't spoken about things that's personally happened to them. And so I choose to speak personally and tell, what happened to me on that property. So about 4 to 5 months ago, like I said, which I think I said that already, so I don't think I'm going to regurgitate that again. And I'm going to go on. Okay. I'm not going to give it a response, though. But it was a really scary situation to be an 11-year-old kid and going through something like that. And then you tell your parents, and your parents tell you that's what you get. This is why I live my life on the scary side sometimes. Like I told you before, Rick, I'm a person who thinks about things first before I do it. And I've learned to stay on the safe side so I can avoid, getting hurt. So I think about things after things has happened to us in the past. I'm like, no,
same thing with me in a lot of situations, because stuff happens to you when you're a child, whatever. It makes you think, what I'm saying? Your mind's like, okay, I don't want to get involved with this, or get too much information about this or that, because you thinking, people think crazy out here. You want to be looked at as being, something wrong with you, or just even getting involved with certain situations.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why there's a lot of things in my life, like I was saying, I try to, um, you know, keep myself on the safe side to avoid me getting hurt. Um, not There's a lot of things that I don't do, and I have a reason why I don't do those things, but to each their own. Like, for example, I can tell you this: I don't drink. I've never had a drink before in my life. I don't smoke pot, never had a joint before in my life. And one of the reasons why is because I was warned about it in counseling and asked about it, that if you do some type of substance from all the stuff that all of us been through, what it does, those substances can trap you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Trigger some memories, some things you may have forgotten, or you're trying to get away from, and
yep,
it'll get you in this headspace, back in that same mindset and pattern,
yeah,
and you're trying to grow out of something.
yep. And
Yep.
so I'm just telling, everybody that's been through any type of abuse or been through, some really hardcore, horrific abuse, because we have, and we've had every abuse done to us known to man. Try to, like I said, to each their own. I'm not telling people what to do, but who they call wine and drinks, them spirits.
Spirits.
Yeah. So try to be modest, when drinking,
Yeah.
and
Don't
just
don't
don't.
don't don't drink to get drunk. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
Okay, if you want
right.
to get you a little wine, red wine, whatever you drink, don't
Yeah,
be like overindulgent, to the point where you just out of it.
yeah. And then get upset and go drink.
Yeah, that
That
too. Yeah.
that that becomes like a problem, and that stuff can, affect you. I'm gonna go on to some of our siblings might be possibly watching, but especially to our oldest sister. If mom allowed this to happen to you, she will continue to say she don't remember, or I did not tell her, and she doesn't remember. And um, just, imagine how I feel. I'm your sister. Imagine how I feel. If any of them told me anything that happened to them, all the stuff that we went through as children, I will believe them offhand. I will believe them, because it's a lot of things that happen to all of us. I can tell the whole audience this. I remember the entire atmosphere. Um, Zahia wore all black all the time and was in a half of a veil. So they
Mm.
have some women in Islam that wore full veils on that
Mhm.
property. They had some women in Islam that wore half of veils, and she wore half a veil. Um, I didn't understand as a child why these women was in veils, but I've read why, you know, and some stuff today I still don't understand. Maybe my eyes will be open to it one day, but I still don't understand it. But those that individual, like I said, she wore half a veil where you could only see her eyes. As a child, I had many encounters with her and other women on the land, but never ever did they harm me in the way she did. So there was several women out on that property, and I could tell you this: one of them stuck by us. She stuck by us, no matter what. She stuck by us, and she's no longer with us. And I continue to pray for her family and for her resting in peace. But we had our ups and downs, but she opened her doors to all of us, and she did help us out.
Yeah.
That she did do, which I think I've discussed that, before. Um, this like I said, this is a touchy subject. I'm about to get into. It's about to really get deep, you
Yeah,
know.
just take your time.
The sexual assault happened to me because my parents didn't care, and the individual that did it knew that she could get away with it. After the likes of Laura Cowing, you know, because of the things that she's said in the media about us, and we have those things screenshot, where she called all of us dummies, stupid, roaches, pigs. Her daughter said, my mother said, you guys were all like sharks in a bloody tank. And that's what her daughter said verbatim. I say this because I was so used to being called names as a child by our parents, and then having Laura come into the home and called names, and then having Zahia, the person that sexually assaulted me as a kid, call me stupid. I'm someone's mother, someone's sister, wife, aunt, cousin, and granddaughter. I'm somebody. I have rights. And so now I'm going to speak about my rights in details, but I'm not going to go graphic. Child sexual abuse has a wide range of behaviors that adults will do. Those behaviors are intended to arouse an older person, generally without considering the reaction that it's going to have on the child. So I'm going to stop right there. What happened is, all of us suffered from starvation,
Mm-hmm.
and we was deprived of food. And so when you have a child that's deprived of food and they're hungry all the time, it's like you get a little piece here, you get a little piece there, but nothing is never enough because your stomach is never
Yeah.
full.
Yeah, you
And
never
so,
get that it's
yeah,
satisfied feeling,
you're not
eating
full.
just like
Yeah.
yeah.
And so that's how I felt as an 11-year-old child. Like I was getting a piece here, getting a piece there. No, you can't have this, you can't have that because you did this or you did that. And when you did get something, you got very little, just a little bit to satisfy you. Almost like taking a painkiller. You got the pain. I'm going to take this and it satisfy you for a couple of hours till you got to have something stronger. So
Mm-hmm.
just, stagnating our appetite and suffocating us by punishing us with food. So when we arrived to that property that day, I believe mom had told us when we pulled in dad's blue van and all of us was in the vehicle, she said, because we always talking about being hungry and all of that. And they had a pit that they had made that they would cook on in the yard. And I think some of our siblings discussed this with you. The dad would tell mom to dig a pit, and
Mm-hmm.
mom would dig a hole. And when she would dig the hole, she would put wood, paper, some type of lighter fluid, maybe some kerosene, and she would light the fire. And so she would put a refrigerator, not quite like a grill holder that you
Mm-hmm.
have on a grill, but she used some type of refrigerator thing. It
Okay.
looks like the grill rack.
Okay.
But she used that to put over the rocks after she made the circle around the hole. And she would fill up a big old black pot and put water in it. And most of the time, mom made starchy foods for us. She made potatoes, she made rice, she made oatmeal. Like I told you, I think before, is that we was lucky if we even got, any type of meat. We was lucky. They gave us
Mm-hmm.
mostly like fish, mackerel or tuna. They gave us, and no kid can survive, like that on food like that. So I recall that day, mom saying that once we pulled in there, and it was two of one of the guys that ran that property, that was married to all those women, his two smaller children, opened up the gate and dad drove in. And when dad drove in, he got the yelling and screaming, "Get out the van." Everybody got out the van, even the back door, the two doors,
Mm-hmm.
getting out the back, opening up the side, getting out. He told mom to fire up the pit. So mom went to go make the pit. And so all of us was humming around mom, telling her that we was hungry and all of that. And mom was like, you know, go play, go play. Me and all of your sisters went up to this stable where they had a horse, and the horse name was Goldie. And I remember the horse's name because Mike reminded me of the horse's name by me looking at the video that he did at the beginning of last year, where he was talking to you about the whole dynamic of that property out there. And so the horse name was Goldie. And so me and our other four sisters was up by the horse pen. I wandered off. And I wandered off, you know why? Because I smelt food. So when I wandered off, here goes a barn. There was no way, me being an 11-year-old child, that I would have known that, hey, I'm thinking this is a barn with pigs and goats and animals and stuff in it. And that's what I'm visualizing in my head. So I'm curious, like, what's in here? I'm thinking, there's animals in there. There's eggs. There's cows in there. No, there was a woman living in there with a child, a small child. Child probably was no more than about 3-4 years old. So discovered it was Zahia that lived in there with her husband. I went in there. It was like a kettle-like looking stove. It looked like one of those, those metal trash cans that they make out of grills.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody went and she had that in there, and they made it out of stove, and it had 2 aisles. And in the bottom part looked like an oven. So it was some cornbread sitting in the cast iron on top of the stove. It was some rice, and it was some other stuff sitting up there, some fish patties or something. They was famous for making mackerel patties. So once I got a hold of the cornbread, that's when she came running in and told me, put it the F down. That scared me. And I begged her not to tell on me. She was like, no, I'm going to go tell your father. She didn't mention our mother. She mentioned our father. And I'm going to get into detail why she mentioned our father. Because she had a crush on our father. Oh, yeah. This was the one that was dancing with him, and she had a husband. So she said, I'm going to go tell your father. So
right quick. What kind of Muslims are these? It's like it was a cult.
Like I'm telling you right now, and like 5 of our siblings explained in their interviews. It was unimaginable, the stuff that was going on out there. And I can tell you, everybody that I saw hit their children out there as a child. So getting back to Zahia, she drugged me. She said, I'm going to tell your father. She drugged me back to the van where our mom and dad was at. And dad was inside the van asleep. And so mom told her to wait. And mom was like, you wait right there. I said, okay. So she started kind of telling mom some stuff that I had did. And I denied it. And so mom had said, Crystal, you need to stop lying. So I didn't say anything. Dad got up and she told dad what I had did, Zahia. And you know what he did? He went and got the water hose, long green water hose, that the guy that had the 3 wives, and we've spoken about him before, Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the people that have spoken about him, Keisha has spoken about him.
What you call him? The cowboy from outer space?
Yeah, homeboy from outer space.
Homeboy. Yeah.
That's the
That's
one.
it. Yeah.
That's the one. Keisha has spoken about him. Marcus has spoken about him. Sharon has spoken about him. Michael has spoken about him. Marlon has spoken about him in their interviews. Um, he was the one that had the 3 wives and the 2 right hand possessions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then something which I don't understand. We got into last week about being a wali to the 2 right hand possessions daughters. That was Adrian, and then the other woman's daughter. He's being the wali to those 2. So he got the water hose, and this is a water hose that I seen him beat his 2 sons with as a child. He got the dad got the water hose and beat me in front of everybody on that property. And guess what? Nobody stopped him. Nobody said anything. Nobody stopped him. That's why I was like, as a child, it was just normal for that to happen. So after that happened, my dad told us, and I'm saying my dad because that's what I knew him as back then.
Yeah.
He said, I'm very disappointed in you. You don't steal, and we told you not to steal. And so he said, you go with her, and whatever punishment she gives you, I'm going to let her punish you. I didn't want to go with her. She drugged me back to that barn. And Dad said, you're her slave for today, or for however many days she wants you to be her slave. She had a field day with me. She took me back to that barn. And when she took me back to that barn, the first thing she made me do is she had a tub with a scrubbing board. She made me wash clothes. She said, after you wash clothes, she said, I want you to go hang them up on the line outside. So this was outside in the backside where the barn was at. She had a clothesline. I washed the clothes, and it was hard for me, but I washed them. Her husband clothes included man underwear. Man underwear. Imagine that, being 11 years old and having to do that. Wash those, go hung them out on the clothesline. When I was done, went back and reported to her. She said, you done? I was like, yeah, I'm done. She said, take all these rugs up off the floor. I took the rugs up off the floor, and while I was taking them up off the floor, she took her fist and she punched me. She said, don't pull those up like that. Don't pull those up like that. She said, you got dust everywhere, and when you finish, you're going to wash the walls. So I rolled the rugs up, pulled them out. She gave me a broom and a dustpan, swept it out in there. After I was done with that, put everything back down. Then she told me, take a break, sit and play with her daughter. I'm 11, her daughter 3 years old, okay? I ain't know her daughter, and I'm just sitting there. Because didn't know what to do, wondering what she gonna do next. Because after she had hit me, didn't know. So I go on, and she asked me, "What, are you hungry?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, you're not getting anything to eat tonight." She said, "You're not getting anything because what you stole from me, that was your dinner." So after she did that, she told me, she said, you can get up and go stand up against the wall. So I was standing up against the wall. She said, face the wall. So I stood at the wall, just looking at the wall for a while. She left for a little bit, for about a good 20, 30 minutes, came back. She said, the clothes are dry. She brought the clothes back because she was taking, the clothes I had hung up, she took them clothes to the house where homeboy from outer space lived at, the little big white house across the way. Got the clothes dry, brought them back, made me fold them up fold them up. After I folded the clothes up, she had me go fill up some buckets of water. So I had to go down to where the van was at, where we was parked at. Filled up some buckets of water, and mom was sitting out there. Mom looked at me, didn't say anything. Dad asked me. He said, "You having a good time up there?" And he just had a smirky, evil smile on his face, because that's when he took joy off, punishing us like that. I walked up there back with one bucket, went back and got the other bucket. She had her daughter get behind a curtain that was clipped on from a wall to another wall with clothespins on it. She had her daughter go behind the curtain to get a bath. After her daughter got a bath, she told me she was going to get a bath. I sat there. I had to go empty their dirty water that they washed up in. So I went, emptied that out. She said, wash the buckets out too with soap and water. And she gave me some type of liquid to wash it out. I did that. After that, I came back in. She said, go back and fill up another bucket because you're going to clean these walls. Walls was already filthy. It was filthy in there anyways. Went and got another bucket, cleaned the walls, was finished. She said, I'm going to find something else for you to do. After I finished that, she said, here goes some stuff for you to iron. I didn't know how to use no iron. So she ironed the shirt, and then I just took that thing and ran it through there. I didn't know how to iron no clothes. After that, I heard a man's voice, and she said, don't come in here. And they said, salam alaikum. And she said, wa alaikum salam. So she said, don't come in here. And he said, why? She said, because Musa's daughter is in here. I'm punishing her. I caught her stealing some cornbread. Do you know he came in there anyways? And then he left out. He came in there anyways and he left out. After he left, what happened is she told me, she sat down, her daughter and them ate a full meal while I'm sitting there watching. She told me, you can sit down right there and just watch us. I'm sitting there just watching them eat. And she said, y'all get punished all the time. She said, Musa be beating y'all, you know what, all the time. Y'all must like it. She said, because y'all, I swear, all of y'all get in trouble all the time. Every time y'all over here, I'm always hearing him yell at y'all all the time. But hey, if that's what you like, oh well. She said, you got to respect your parents and stuff. So I told her I was cold because it had gotten dark. She said she didn't care. That night, I slept on a cold floor and a dirty rug with no clothes on. Just a pair of underwear at 11 years old because she made me take my clothes off. That's where I slept at that night. What happened after that? I was there all night. I don't know how much sleep I got that night because it was so cold. I didn't know what was going to happen to me. The morning came. She gave me a big old t-shirt to put on. She said, you want to go home today? I said, yeah. I miss my parents. She said, guess what? You ain't going home today. Your father said I can keep you as long as I want. So what happened? Routine started all over again. She had me doing chores. Go empty the trash, sweep the floor, make her bed up, go make my daughter some cereal.
Let me just a little pause. Did you eat any food? Did she let you eat anything during this time? I know not the next day either.
Nope. She didn't give me nothing. Nothing at all. I just heard, I'm going to tell you what I heard. This is how she was playing mind games with me. She, like I said, got up, put on the t-shirt. Routine started over the next day, cleaning the floors, taking out trash, going getting water for her and her daughter to get a bath, um, cleaning stoves, washing dishes, making up beds, all of that. Then she told me when I was done doing all of that, she said, "Me and you, we gonna sit down and have a talk." And so I was like shocked in my head, like, what are we gonna have a talk about? I was thinking to myself, like, what are we gonna talk about? So once I was finished doing all the chores and stuff, she left. She told me, stay right there, we're gonna have a talk. She left and I sat there. Her daughter was sitting there having breakfast at a small little like toddler table. And she came back and she said, your sister and brothers, they down there eating. They eating real good. I just had a talk with your father. That's what she told me. So I kind of like began to cry. And she was like, don't cry now. You should have thought about it before you came up here and stole from me and my family.
And here's the thing: I don't believe Dad was feeding them. That was the lie,
Yeah.
because we know how Dad was.
But I'm going to tell you what Dad was doing. Dad was up there because she was a smoker. Dad was up there and he wasn't supposed to be up there. And him and her was outside sitting and they was talking and smoking cigarettes. That's what they both was doing. And so as I was sitting in there, she was sitting out there having the conversation with Dad. Now, I know as I got older that reflecting back off of that conversation that they had, she wasn't supposed to even be in his presence or having the conversation with him because she was married. He wasn't even supposed to be down there where she lived at all. Because it's this thing in the Quran, and I don't know if you ever heard of it. It was talking about fornicators and adulterers, that if a married woman or married man, vice versa, enter each other's home,
Mm-hmm.
and I forget what verse is in the Quran, it states that something about if the shirt is torn from behind, then the woman is a liar. And if the shirt is torn from the front, then the man is a liar. So that's how they determine in, I guess, the Muslim religion, who was the adulterer in the
Yeah, who was the
situation.
yeah? I think if I'm not mistaken, they got that story from the Joseph story, because they got
Mhm.
that in the Quran. It's kind of similar to the Bible story, but the Bible story kind of go more in depth. But yeah, go on. Yeah.
And so I was trying to call for him to get me up out of there. And she closed the door. She came in there and she told me, shut up. I didn't say anything. And just was afraid and quiet. So I'll say the next could have been longer, but I'm gonna say the next hour I had to endure being fondled. I had to endure being called names. I had to endure a grown woman watching me as a child naked. I had to endure being touched in places that I won't supposed to be touched. I had to endure somebody putting their lips on my lips that was married and I was a child, not knowing if this person had a STD or if she had AIDS, whatever it was. That's what I had to endure for an hour. Like I said, I'm not going to go too deep, but there were some things that went on. And I've journaled about this stuff. I've been through counseling about this stuff, and it did affect me. It affected me. I had 2 encounters with this individual since I've been an adult, but I don't know if she's aware that I've had these 2 encounters. Um, I became, after I had my daughter, well, I'm gonna go back to what happened to finish up
Mm-hmm.
the story. So, um, it was a lot of stuff that I had to endure in there, and it was graphic. I didn't deserve it. Our parents put me in that situation and they didn't care. That's what I went through. Um, I think it had got to be around probably the afternoon time. And she said, "You can put your clothes on and you can go." That's what she said. When I walked up out of there, Rick, I had so many tears in my eyes and I was so shook up. To be honest with you, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was when I came up out of there. But I knew to wipe those tears and not show them to our parents, because I knew if I was crying and I was showing any signs of any type of weakness, that I was going to get punished some more. And it probably wasn't going to be by her, but either him or her, our mother, was going to punish me. So I had to clear them tears up. When I got down back to the front of the entrance of the gate where we was parked at, Mom asked me, did I learn my lesson? And I told her, yeah. And she gave me a pie pan, a tin pie pan with some rice piled up like a mountain and some butter on top of it. That's what she gave me. And she said, you sit down and eat that. Our brothers was up at the high area above because they had a little mosque up there where Marcus dug, where Dad made Marcus, Mike, and Marlon dig that hole and get in. So our brothers was up at the top of the mountain. Our sisters, I think they was in the back at one of the ladies that the dude that was on that property married to at their house. So I sat there and I told Mom, I said, I have something to tell you. And so she said, what is it? And I couldn't quite get it out because I got to having tears. She said, oh, you got tears? I guess you didn't learn your lesson. So I said, I got something to tell you. So when I began to tell her how I was touched and where at and what happened, she said, I don't want to hear no more. And she said, and Zahia did this? And she kept saying, and Zahia did this? And I said, yeah. And I told her, I swear, and I was telling the truth. She said, wait till your dad come back down here and we're going to talk with your dad. When Dad came down there, told him no empathy at all. No calling the authorities to have her locked up to get any help at all. It was just, that's what you get. That was your punishment for going in her house. So I carried that with me at 11 years old, that I deserved, and all children that did something wrong deserved to be sexually harassed and sexually abused if they did something wrong. Because that's just what you get. That's what you get. So after Dad left, he said, hurry up and eat and get ready for prayer. That's when our sisters came back. And Mom was sitting down there and she saying, Crystal, I don't want to hear it no more, because I kept telling her and talking about it. She said, you heard what your father said? And that's just what he said. That's what you get. So we started to do prayer. And after
let me before you go on to that, you didn't really eat the cornbread like for real. You just like kind of picked it up. You didn't get a chance to even bite into it.
It don't matter. It don't matter. The point of what happened to me is that children do stuff. But what happened to me, I didn't deserve that.
No, you did. And
I didn't
here's the
deserve
thing:
that at
Dad was
all.
starving. Like you
But
said, Dad was starving you.
yeah,
So
but as
everybody, and you smelled
right,
the food, and you just
yeah.
naturally, you know.
But as a child, I thought I deserved it because I was being told that that's what you get. That's what I was being told. That's what you get. And so I had to accept that all the way up till I became an adult. I had to accept that. And so I've had two encounters. Well, let's go back to property. The other thing that was happening is that it was a lot of abusive stuff going on out there with me and all of your other siblings. We lived right at the front entrance of that property, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a big old tree, and I've been over there actually about maybe 2-3 years ago because I took pictures. The tree is still there. So you really couldn't tell. You really can't even tell that that property is even there because it's so isolated and it's sitting back up like in a cul-de-sac.
Okay.
It's like a big old long dirt road like this that you got to go down before you get to the bottom of the
Mm-hmm.
hill. That's how it is. Now, but it was a lot of people that lived around there. That's the crazy part. And people saw and they heard things. People saw kids naked being beaten with switches and water hose. And it wasn't just us that Child Protective Service was coming out there for. It was things that was going on with other children out there, and Child Protective Services was coming out there. But it got really bad when we was out there because there was a lady that lived, I believe, on the right side of them, and she consistently called the police over there. She consistently. It was always, I hear children screaming, saying, please don't hit me, or I'm hungry, or I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Can you give me another chance? And then she said she heard a strong, powerful man's voice. And it's a police report. They got so many police reports, mom and dad, here in the state of California because of things that they did. It's just unbelievable. She said she heard a strong, powerful man voice screaming, saying, you're going to respect. His thing was, you're going to respect the law. You're going to respect the authority of God, of Allah, or I'm going to raise my iron fist and crack you in your dome. That's how he spoke. That's how he spoke. And I could get really more in detail, and I know all our siblings can too, but he had these powerful, magical words that he used. And it's like, where did he get this stuff from? You know,
He did that in the
because
court, right? He raised his hand, and said
yeah,
he ruled with iron
I
fist
was
in
like,
court.
wow. Yeah, when he said that he ruled with an iron fist, I was like, that don't faze me. That's not odd to me because, I mean, I've heard it all of my childhood life. I don't know if you ever heard it, or I'm gonna crack you in your dome.
I never heard it, but
You
he
know,
did. I mean, I ain't gonna
I'm
go
a
into that, but yeah.
yeah, or I'm gonna bust you in your lip. I'm gonna knock all your teeth out. I'm gonna split your head open till blood is gushing out, and you ain't gonna have no brains. And like I said, that's how he spoke to us.
And he acted on that stuff too.
Dummies, read the books, dummies. Learn the Arabic, dummies. You better have verses 1-4 learned. New year come in, you better have verses 1-4 learned, or you're gonna get a punishment for it. It's already getting punishment anyway, but you're gonna get a punishment for it. Then he assigned verses to every last one of us. Why do you think I know how to speak Arabic so fluently? I don't know how to speak Arabic fluently because it was something I wanted to learn. It was something he made us learn. That's what it was. While he didn't learn it. But you heard what Marcus said, how he gave Marcus the books, the tapes.
Yeah.
Sit down, listen to it. You better learn it. You better learn it. And so, you know, I struggled with this sexual abuse thing, and I struggled with it for years to the point that I developed like a shield over myself because I got to thinking in my head, well, if I do this, this might happen to me. If I do that, that might happen to me. And then I became worried about my daughter. Once I discovered, after I had got married, about a year after I was married, pregnant with my daughter, I immediately went in like hibernation mode. That's where I went. I worked every day, came home every day, went to all my doctor's appointments. Once our daughter got here, it was just a lot of rules. I had a lot of rules. And then as I was going through counseling, my counselor was like, no, you're not wrong. You're just being a protective mother. Something that your mother didn't do. So you're not wrong. And our siblings, they'll tell you, because they've told one of our grandparents about my daughter not being in our mom's life. My daughter is grown and she's fully aware of why she's not in our mother's life. And we've talked, me and her father, with her. And she has no desire to be in her life. We don't mention the grandma and grandpa name in this house. They don't get that title. And I've never told her that. And I don't feel bad for it. I don't feel sad at all. But they don't get that title in this house, him or her. They'll never get that title. And plus, two, the only thing my daughter want to do is ask them, why did they do what they did to all her aunts and uncles? That's the only thing she want to know, is what was wrong with them and why they did. Because she know how she looks at all of us. She looks at all of us like, she said, when you guys get together, like when we got together on the Christmas event that you put together, celebration.
Yeah.
She was just laughing about it. And she said she felt good and she was happy. She said, and she can't understand how would parents like that that's blessed with all them children do something like that. I said, and I ask myself that question all the time too. How could somebody do something like that? But going back to Zahia, I had 2 encounters with her. I had an encounter, but not face to face. And I didn't know that she was present. I had one encounter with her where I was in San Bernardino down on Waterman, and Hannah owned a store in Moreno Valley, and him and his business partner, they didn't want the store in Moreno Valley anymore, so they shut it down, and they split all the merchandise. So due to Hannah being a veteran, got his license and all of that, so he was able to set up booths and all that anywhere he wanted. Actually, you can do that anywhere in the United States if you're a veteran. And so he was just out, had his booth set up. I'm sitting in the car. Doria was about 3-4 months old. And so I'm sitting in the car doing some paperwork, and she just napping. And so he had some customers come by to purchase some items. And so a friend of his came by, and so he saw her. And so he said, he turned around. He said he looked at her, turned back around because he said he wanted to see him. He said he asked his friend watch his booth. He came over to the car, got in the car, because I had got in the back seat to give Adoria a bottle, right? And I said, what's going on? He said, I'm going to move the car further up here where I'm at. So he moved the car. And he said, don't turn around. I said, why? He said, I saw Zahia. And you know what she was doing?
What?
She was over by Churchy's Chicken, where on Waterman, where they had a water faucet at, and she had a spoon putting water in it. And so I said, what is she doing? And Hannah said, she about to shoot up some dope.
Mm.
That's what she about to do. And that's exactly what she was doing. So he went on and packed stuff. I said, I want to leave. I don't want to be over here. He packed stuff up. We left. The second encounter I almost had with her is a couple of our siblings was getting together one summer. And it was mentioned to me that she was going to be present. And I told our sister, I said, I'm not coming. I don't want to be around her. So somebody else said she won't going to be there. I went on and went. I almost made it in there with my daughter. She's about 3-4 years old. She turned around. Like, Mommy, what's going on, Mommy? I said, we're leaving. She said, I want to go. She wanted to see the other little cousins that she was real close to. She wanted to see them. And I said, I know, but they canceled. We're going to see them another time. I had to come up with something for my daughter.
Yeah.
I said, no, we're going to see them the next time. And I called Hannah on his cell phone. He said, tell her we're going to Chuck E. Cheese. So I said, we're going to Chuck E. Cheese. She said, okay. So I got her in the car seat. We took it to another McDonald's, went to another friend of our house, went to another friend of ours house. And so she said to me while we were sitting there coloring, once we got to the other friend, a friend of ours house, she said, Mommy, what happened? I said, oh, we're going to go the next time. She asked me, what about Chuck E. Cheese? I said, oh, we're going to go. So we went the next day because I was just hurt by that because she couldn't see her little cousins. So those are the type of things, like I said, I protect my peace.
Yeah.
That's what I do. And it's not just for me, everybody, to all our siblings, protect your peace. That's what you do. You don't want to be involved in a whole bunch of stuff, you know? And plus, you don't want to repeat some of the things that our parents did.
Definitely don't want to do that.
Because that's a big time no. And that's why I choose, just sometimes just not to be around,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to choose me and my family first. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to involve myself in certain things. I just don't, want to be a part of it. So, going back, like I said, to that property, that was a horrible time in all of our lives. And we was amongst other Muslim families down there, so-called Muslim families.
Yeah.
And people proclaiming till today that they're Muslims. Even right now, as we speak, Richard, in the back of my head, a lot of stuff that I'm privy to. A lot of stuff. And I've spoken to a lot of our siblings about this stuff that is not right. It continues to go on. It's going to suck the life out of you.
Yeah, like I said, they spoke to me about a lot of stuff that happened on that property and like stuff that continued. And I don't want to talk about it, but it's
but this, what I'm telling you is that you're talking about 1990, 1991. We in 2026. This individual, he's still the same person down to, we just spoke to our sister recently. He's the same carbon copy of a person that he was then when we all was kids. He the same person. I don't trust him. I don't like him. I'll never be in his presence. And like I said, I'll never, ever, and he might be watching. That's why he's probably sat back, like we discussed, and told our mother certain things to tell siblings not to speak about.
Yeah.
Because you don't want the truth told about you. It's almost like the Epstein files, to be honest with you. I'm just going to be very honest. That's what it's like. It's almost
Secret
like the
upon
Epstein
secret,
files.
this upon document upon all types of stuff.
That things was going on with children
Mm-hmm.
abuse. Things was going on with young teenagers down there. Things was going on with our family. You had a bunch of adults there. They knew it. They
Yep.
was behind the scenes. They knew it. And they was allowing it to happen. That's what it's like. Just was allowing it to happen. And I'm finding now that since those files have came out, a lot of stuff is coming out. Because I don't know if you've seen the Tyra Banks documentary.
Yeah, we was talking about that the other day. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah.
So when you get a chance, watch it. And I encourage everybody to watch it because I saw half of it and I didn't finish the rest of it. And the reason why, because I kind of related what was going on that show to what was going on that property with us. Is that you had a big boss, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Homeboy from outer space. And then he had all of these women with twisted ropes, palm leaf fibers wrapped around their neck, following him into the den of doing everything that was bad. And they doing bad. You got to understand, these was men, a man doing harm to women and children. That's what you got to look at. That's what I saw as a kid, doing harm to men, women, and children. Won't doing it to men. He won't doing it to dad. You think he was going to step to our father?
Nah.
He would never step to our father. Never. He would never do that. And he'll sit back and he'll lie. He'll lie. That's what he'll do. And our mother should keep covering for him. Like I told you last week, it could have been anybody else that she chose, and we all would have been fine with it. I'm not good with it at all, and I'll never be. I'll never be.
Man. Wow.
So it's just like I said, it's like I mean, it's just a mess. It's a mess when you regurgitate it. You start talking about it again. It's like, and then you kind of like, did that really happen?
Yeah, because it's like,
oh, did that really happen?
Mm-hmm.
No, that didn't happen. You like, did that really happen? And then you'll play it over and over and over in your head again. And I'm just like, yeah, it's reality. That happened. And I'm reminded of that because of a snippet of a letter I saw where Dad said he wished it was a dream that he was in.
Yeah. The letter I showed you that he sent to me back in 08?
Yep.
I forgot. I almost threw that letter away. It was cleaning out my closet.
That was
and
shocking.
I was like, what's this? I was reading it. So let me send this to
I
Crystal.
was in the car last weekend. I think I was on my way to Costco's or something. And I was reading it to Hannah. I said, he said he wished it was a dream, or I wish it was a dream. And Hannah said, I bet he do.
Yeah.
I bet he do wish it was a dream. Heck yeah. I wish it was too.
Not an apology in the
All that
world. And
stuff
that look, not
that
an
happened to
apology
us.
whatsoever in that letter.
Nope.
Just telling me what he
Just
want.
being,
He's relating from trying to get me to get somebody else to do something for him. And he was
yeah.
telling me, don't get caught up in anything like this. I'm like, in my mind, like, why would I?
Why
I don't.
would you?
Why
Yeah.
would I? You know what I'm saying?
We ain't like you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm your son, but I don't do what you do. We not
We
alike.
ain't narcissists.
Nah.
You know, because that letter I wrote, that letter I wrote to him before they shipped him off to prison, he ain't like it. I already know he didn't because he wrote me back. But that letter that he sent you, I
Mm-hmm.
looked at that letter, I read it. I said, he's a narcissist.
Yeah, it was crazy because I was
He's a
reading. I'm like,
narcissist.
yo,
It was always every
hey, yo, check it out.
every
Check it out. You see how neat? Check it out. You see how neat he was writing in
you
that
know,
leather. So he was neat. He
yeah.
was right. It was crazy. And then my mom like, yo, this dude is like, wow. He was like,
I won't, I won't,
yes,
I won't do this for me, do that
yeah,
for me.
and still call me by my nickname. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
That was crazy
It was
right there. I
like
was like, what the heck, boo boo?
still call me like,
I
yo,
was
what's
like,
going on?
I looked at the
Yeah,
little song. He
yeah,
said, dear boo boo.
yeah. It's like,
I was
yo,
like, what in the
you think
world? I couldn't believe
I'm
that.
like he didn't raise me. Our grandfather, our grandparents
Yeah.
raised me and gave me the values and how to live my life. And they kept me away from a lot of stuff. Even when he would come around with y'all in the van, like we talked about previously, they always
Yeah.
told me to stand in front of the house, don't get inside the van with him. I remember when our great grandmother passed away and we
Mm-hmm.
went to the funeral. I couldn't even get in a car or van with him and all the other cousins. Grandma and granddad made sure, because they were afraid he may try to take me, which, back then I was so young. I was like, yo, I can't be with all the other cousins, everybody, but he was around. So as I got older, I understood, so yeah, but he's
They
crazy
was
like
right.
that. Yeah, they was
They
right.
was right
Not
for feeling
yeah,
that
not look
way.
yeah, not look back on it. When you're a
Mm-mm.
child, when you young, you don't really know. You get old, you start realizing, oh, I get it. They was just protecting me.
They was
Yeah,
right for feeling that way.
yeah,
And they had every right to protect you because that was their job. And plus, they're to be commended and rewarded. And they were supposed to be rewarded for everything that they did.
yeah,
And I don't care what nobody say. They raised their kid for them.
yeah.
And how many families gonna do that?
You right about that.
You know, they to be commended. And also, I wanted to mention this too. You know, those two individuals who are parents, they're fully 100% to blame for what happened to all of us. And I'm not talking about Laura, everybody at this time. We're talking
Yeah,
about our family. They 100% to blame. There's no blaming mom's side of the family. There's no blaming dad's side of the family because we knew both our grandparents on both sides. I know I talked to grandma faithfully. I talked to her all the time. I sent
yeah,
her pictures all the time. I
yeah. She
sent
told
her
me.
on
Hmm.
videos. I sent her all types of stuff. And I love talking to her. I love talking to her on the phone. She gave me a lot of advice, even when I came to visit. Everybody was welcoming, everybody was nice. There's no blame put on mom or dad's side of the family, period. Somebody asked down in the comments, I think last year,
Hmm.
what about your family? We're not going to discuss them. This is not about them. This is about us. This has nothing to do with them
Yeah,
at all. They have their own lives, their own families and stuff. And you got to respect people's privacy and people's boundaries,
yeah,
which me and my siblings, we've all have asked for to the media to respect our privacy, give us peace and respect our boundaries. And for some reason, this lady drug all of us out there
sure did.
and she put us all out there. And we didn't ask to be put out there. And that's why we're here on this platform, because we're speaking for our family, because she thinks that she controls all of us and that she's the spokesperson of our
Yeah.
family. She got rights over all of us, and that we're not capable of speaking for ourselves. That's what she thinks, because
Yes.
she's done a lot of things,
Yeah.
behind closed doors. That's another one.
we
But
go. We go. Yeah. We
this
gonna get.
case too. This
Yeah.
case,
Yeah.
you cutting real close to the Epstein files.
Yeah.
This case too. You know, making things seem one way and it's not, and not being honest and telling the truth about stuff, that will be exposed too.
Yeah. Like we said, give us some time, y'all. But we go. Y'all gonna see those transcripts. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just trust me. They on the way. And like I showed last week, we have the court minutes, so there's some information in there too
Mm-hmm.
that we haven't talked about yet as well.
Those
So
court minutes.
mhm.
Those court
It's in
minutes.
it.
200. And that's
Mhm.
not even all of them. I'm just
Yeah,
letting you
and
know.
yeah, I know you had told me some more.
That's not all of them.
Mm.
What I sent you, that
Mhm.
is not all of them. There's probably 12, 13 more packets. It's a lot. That's not all of them. I'm just letting you know.
Mm.
And these are court minutes. And these are court minutes the legal clerks type. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we don't care about these systematic officers that was involved in this case. We don't care about them because you didn't do your job. You didn't do your job. You didn't. You let one of them get away. That was Laura Cowan. You let her get away. So we don't care about these systematic officers. We don't care about Laura's story that she keeps fabricating over and over again, because
Yeah.
all of us know the truth.
Mhm.
What we care about is all of the children that was victims, and that's the children, us, that are adults now, the children of our mother. We care that we all get our moment and that our voices is heard, and that the people that got away, being number one, Laura, is held accountable. Period. That's what I asked for, and that's what I pray for. Is that she be held accountable for what she did. Musa is incarcerated for the rest of his life, being punished for what he did. And he paid full restitution to Laura Cowan, according to the court minutes.
Yeah.
Well, she should let everybody know that she wasn't just this poor single mother that didn't have no money. She was getting some restitution because he was paying it on a lie that she told.
Yep.
And me and my siblings, we have not received a dime in restitution, period. There's an order, but we never received a dime. But guess what? Our parents made sure that they paid an abuser in our home restitution through the courts. And these are in the court minutes.
Yeah, I read it. I read it, and I was,
It's in the court minutes.
and I saw how money here, 500 here, this, and I mean, I saw it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then like what people don't realize, like our siblings, they helped mom pay a lot of that too.
Our mom didn't have any
She
money
didn't have a job. Yeah, she did. So our
to
siblings
pay any
paid that.
restitution. All of our siblings was pitching in. And Laura, I'm gonna tell you this: you went on a podcast and you lied. You said you sent me and my siblings money. It ain't no trace of you ever being in contact with none of us or sending us any money. You don't even have none of our numbers. But guess what? There's traces of all my siblings that paid our mother's restitution to you in court documents.
Yeah.
And there we were the victims, and our siblings that were victims of our mom and dad and your abuse, and the other adult that was in the home abuse paid restitution. Now, how twisted is that? Think about that. I just thought about that just sitting here. It just rolled. It just rolled off my.
That's how I do when you get when you get the talking and stuff just get the rolling.
I'm just like, wait a minute. What the heck is our siblings doing paying restitution? They some good ones. Helping our mother out like that.
I couldn't have did it. I'd be like, look.
Because all of them got kids.
Yeah.
And they're hard workers. And I could tell you this. Didn't nobody help us get no jobs. Didn't nobody help nobody get through school. Everybody got their own jobs and went to job interviews and got jobs. Nobody didn't write us any letters.
Yeah, that's right. I heard that Laura got a recommendation letter, a letter for when she was getting a job. For the job she has right now.
Julie Baldwin wrote her a recommendation letter. We didn't get none of that. None of us got no recommendation letters.
And they helped somebody they know that didn't get abused. They told us this, that it blows my mind. It blows my mind when I think about this stuff.
Sat in the office 2 weeks ago, and the office manager that worked in there, I asked her a list of questions, And like I said, people need to start asking her questions.
Yeah.
Ask her questions, Lifetime. Lifetime Movie Network.
Yo.
Ask her questions. Ask Laura.
Look, they next up. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep. Ask her the questions. I want to ask Lifetime, why did they make a movie with her going in the basement when it's called Girl in the Garage?
We gonna do something on that. Like I told you, we got something coming on that.
Yeah.
Because when we was reading that article, I said, you know what? We got to do this one.
Yeah. So I'm just like, this crazy.
Yeah, but I want to say that go watch that movie, y'all. Blink twice.
Yeah, watch that.
We start off with that in the beginning. We do a little icebreaker. But
look, blink. Everybody, blink your eyes twice.
Yeah, blink twice
while you watching it, because it's a reason why it's called Blink Twice.
It sure is.
Else. It's something else.
You put me on. I'm like, look, I like movies. I'm like, I missed this.
Look, I was tripping off of some of the movies that Marlon and all of them was giving us. I watched all them movies. The movies you told me, Christmas movies I hadn't seen. I was like, how the heck did I? All of us are movie fanatics.
Yeah.
We like, every last one of us like movies. And I was like, how the heck did
the violent on Christmas or Santa? Somebody told you about
that one.
That was good, wasn't it? I told you.
Yeah, that one was good. I was like, how the heck did I not see this?
Yeah.
Because I was on the phone with Marlon. I paused the movie and I was on the phone with Marlon, and Marlon was watching that movie with Jim Carrey called Dumb and Dumber. But while he was watching it, he was repeating all the lines. And my daughter asked me, she said, what is he doing? I said, he repeating all the lines. She said, hey, how are you guys able to do that?
Hey.
I said, our brains are like recorders. You're a kid, you got to learn all them Arabic alphabets and all them verses.
Memory, yeah.
I'm like, it's photographic memory.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I'm like, you'd be surprised at things all of us remember. You'd be shocked.
And look, in detail. I ain't talking about detail.
Yeah. detailed. I'm telling you. The color,
Yeah.
the color. Look, I remember the color, the
Mm-hmm.
smell,
Mm-hmm. Lord.
flashbacks.
Lord, too much having flashbacks.
Yeah.
Please.
I remember the color, the smell, flashbacks. Told that big old lie dad was breathing on their shoulder. Somebody made a comment that if you was locked in the garage and the police came there to get you, how was he breathing on your shoulder?
Yeah.
That's the questions you ask.
That's another.
Those are the questions.
Yeah, we know we gotta get together and get down these questions. We're gonna do a video on some stuff like that.
Yeah, those are the questions right there.
Mm-hmm.
The viewer that said that, those are the questions that you ask. You know,
Yeah. All right.
sometimes I look at her stuff and I be thinking, when I look at some of these articles and stuff, I'm like, I'm at Disneyland. That's what I be thinking. I'm just like,
Would it
the heck come up with this stuff?
would it Jim Kelly say Into the Dragon? Man, you come right off a comic book.
Yeah.
That's Laura right there.
I'm like, it's crazy. All of it. It's just
It
crazy.
is. It is.
And then we got story time with Musa coming up, right?
Yeah, we're gonna try get that done. That's gonna be a regular video. I want everybody know that watch our videos. Go look at all the lives and look at all
Mm-hmm.
the regular videos. Cause we got people didn't know we had other videos out there. Go look at the regular videos that we got out there. Look at all the shorts because the shorts kind of little short to just know what videos to watch or what's interesting. But yeah, and we every Friday around this time we go live. We may go like 30 minutes early, like we did tonight,
Mm-hmm.
but around the same time.
Yeah.
We rarely do stuff on the weekend. That's just if we doing a separate video or whatever, and we posting it up. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but me
That's
and
right.
Crystal, we on it. We constantly, got little concepts and little ways to what story direction, what to go, what to talk about, you know.
Yep.
Because it all comes together when you
It
if y'all
sure
watch
do.
everything, it gives you a bigger picture of what really is going on. And Laura, like I said, she doesn't have a story at all. This is at all. So
Yep. So I'm looking at can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. I can hear
Okay,
you.
so I'm looking at, let me make sure this thing is plugged up. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, it's plugged up. So what I'm looking at right now is down
Mhm.
at the bottom of our notes,
Okay.
the closing. So
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
looking
yeah.
at in closing, we just wanted to let everyone know this is not Laura's trauma.
Mhm.
Again, like Richard stated in the beginning, that this stuff that we speaking about, she wasn't present when this happened. And we all have spoken about the entire dynamic of the home. Yes, there was trauma of abuse coming from our parents. It was bad, but Laura brought more baggage in our home and made things worse. I said worse because she saw the red flags, and the red flags that she saw came from her mouth, not my mouth. If you look at
Mhm.
our um, past videos, like Richard stated, and if you go and you look at articles online where she stated, and not just that, but verbally and visually, you will see her on YouTube speaking to other podcasters that she saw the red flags. So this statement came from her, and she made this statement all across um, social media outlets, news articles, and to domestic abuse events that she had, seminars. She also made this statement to WKYC News and
Mhm.
WEW Cleveland news stations. She took all of our trauma and dragged us without consent into a puddle of lies that she created to mask the attention of people who are unaware of what actually happened and what went on. for years. Um, there was uh, there was a lot of stuff that I couldn't watch. When I discovered that she was doing certain things as far as documentaries. She was in this one documentary on, I believe, TV1,
Yeah.
and the person that was the host of this show, I forget the name of the show, but I know Malik Yorba was the host of this show. And so I already knew without my siblings telling me that she was fabricating stuff. And we all knew that. So I remember one night going to bed and was sleeping good. My husband woke me up and said, your sister called and said Lord Cowan is on a TV1 show that Malik Yorba is hosting. Immediately, I told him I didn't care and I don't want to watch it. So it took me 4 years to watch that documentary. Plus, speaking to my counselor as well, she encouraged me to watch it. And she told me to watch it because she said this will help process some of your trauma. She said the things that she did in the home and got away with, by you watching it, she said this is going to better help you understand that she's never going to tell the truth. And she's going to keep twisting everybody up so people can become unaware of what she did. Because she done already won, my counselor was like, big time. All those law officials, she said, believed her right off. So she said, by you watching it, she said, this should give you peace and the strength that she's not going to change, that she's still the same person. So when I watched it, you know, I sat there and immediately it was nothing but holes in it. You could see it. It was like nothing but cumulative lies. So I felt like when she talked about all of us, she was doing it purposely to continue to emotionally hurt us through the television. That's how I felt. Just like she did in the house. How she used scare tactics on us by saying, I'm going to tell your dad on you.
Yeah.
Or she do her name calling us idiots, roaches, stupid, dummies, sharks in the bloody tank.
Shortcutted freaks.
Yep.
Yep.
That too.
Yeah.
Shortcutted. I had never heard of that before in my life. I thought up in my head when I was sitting on Dr. Phil's stage, that stuff I didn't even remember I even wrote it.
Yeah, you wrote
he said
that.
Shortcut it. I looked, I was like, cut it. Who calls people stuff like that? Kids.
Throwing shoes at y'all.
Yeah.
Watching y'all naked.
She got busted doing that. When Dad said, don't take that blindfold off, I took it off. She was talking. I told Mom. She took that shoe and threw it, hit me dead in the head. I was like, busted. Busted. That's why she sat there and said, they are so wrong. They are so wrong. They are so wrong.
Yeah, that's what she did too.
You got to be a fool to believe.
Y'all told me the whole audience was crying.
Yeah, they was.
They was in tears.
Because see, I was sitting there. It was it was Marcus,
Keisha,
Mike,
and you. Yeah.
And then down there on the other side, it was Christopher. He was funny that day. Christopher, Nikosi, Tiffany, and Sharon.
Sharon, yeah.
And I was sitting there, and I could see, because it was just something else that day. All the filming we had did, and I looked up there, and I just saw tissue going around. And then Hannah told me he was sitting, he said he was looking down on us in the studio. And he said, y'all was so brave. He said, it made him cry. I was cracking. I said, I've never seen him cry in my life. But I was cracking up when he said, I was crying. I
Mm-hmm.
had tears in my eyes. And I said, you was? He said, I was glad y'all got a moment. He said, y'all have been talking about this for years. And he said, I was sitting up there. He said he was just wiping his eye. He said this couple was sitting beside him that was married. He said he was passing the box around. I was like, what? He was like, yeah. He said, all y'all did a good job. You did the right thing. You did a good job. And he said, cause when I left, I was like, she didn't admit to doing anything wrong. He said, that's okay. He said, as long as your voices was heard, that you was sitting there and your voice was heard, that's okay. He just said, and he said it was the most, when we went backstage and we were sitting back there with Dr. Phil and one of the producers, he said it was one of the most quietest audiences ever, ever, because people was just speechless.
Yeah, y'all told me how your experience and everything, and Hannah, when he was talking about how the people were crying, how everybody was like they were just like he said speechless. He said they just was passing the box around and in just the Kleenex, they was speechless.
I was speechless sitting there because Mike was sitting there and the way he was leaned over,
Mm-hmm.
he was whispering, "She gonna tell another lie. She gonna tell another lie. She gonna tell another lie." That's why I was patting him like. And Hannah was like, "Don't let her sit out there and bully y'all. She can't bully y'all no more. She can't tell your father on you no more. She can't do
Mm-hmm.
nothing to you guys anymore." He said she can't sit up there and call you names. He said she got to sit up there and she got to play Miss Good Lord Cowing, the advocate. He said she got to play good in front.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah, he said she got to play good in front of them people. Because he said if she don't play good in front of them, they ain't going to believe her. He said they're not going to believe her. And he said, don't let her bombard y'all. That's why Mike told it was our time. And it was. And that time is coming up again
It's
very
coming
soon.
again. Yeah.
Very soon. It's
Yeah.
coming. You know?
Yeah, we working. We still I mean to cut you off. You still finishing up or
No, that
ain't
was it. I
oh
concluded.
yeah. But like I said, we still got stuff coming up and like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the like button, so we can get more views. Got the ticker going across if you want to support this channel and support other stuff that we're doing outside of this. You can cash at me at Bodie the third and support
Mm-hmm.
in the ticker right
Mm-hmm.
there, everyone. And like I said, like, share, and subscribe. Just come to our channel, look at all the videos. Comment, please comment. We'll answer you. We try our best to answer, me and Crystal. If we don't answer them, eventually we'll say something as we're doing the show. So we really do appreciate it, everyone. And Crystal, any last words before we go?
No, just hope everybody watch this podcast and continue to support us. And like Richard said, the Cash App is down at the bottom to donate. And we
Mm-hmm.
appreciate any donation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, everyone. Have a blessed day, week, and all that good stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
we'll be back.
And good night.
Mm-hmm.